Hey all, Andy here, helping you build a career you love. Happy Thursday. Great to have you at live office hours. Get in the chat, say hi. Let me know where you're from. Let me know what you do. Let me know what you need. Put some question marks in front of your questions. I'm taking anything you got today. I'm going to spend the hour answering your questions. I got a couple of great announcements. We're in for a big month coming up starting next week, next 4 weeks. Job searching bonanza, interviewing bonanza, right up into the holidays. Get you ready. So get in, say hi. Let me say hi. Karen, how are you? Adam Stark, Azani, I think that's maybe how you pronounce it. Hopefully I got that right. Mark, Cherry, Fana Andy, what's up? Lynette, Jill, Richard, Donna, Alice, Reka, Gary, Pamela, TSA. I'm sure that's not like the people at the airport. Beth, et al. What's up? Great to have you. So hope everybody is doing well. Let's see. I'm going right into to your questions. Hopefully I got my brain working today. We'll give you some smart answers. Karen 174, I got you as number one, and I can't wait for the show either, but here it is. We're here. It's now. Let's do it. I'm applying for a job outside the county. I'm assuming you mean county, not country, and that I currently reside in. The target county where I am looking to work is where my family is located. Which address do you suggest I put on my CV? Now, I'm assuming that's not a typo, and you're talking about county, not country, because you used the word twice. And it's so one of the things you didn't mention is, so I live in a county, and if I drive a few miles that way, I'm in another county, and that way another county, and that way another county, and it's pretty close to me. So if it's far, and this matters to know that you are quite far, if it's drivable, you could just put your own wherever you are. Your own region, your own city, your own town, your own county, whatever it might be. And if it's something where you'd need to move, then I leave it up to you. Now, so in the past, when a lot of the work was not as mobile as it is now, or remote, or virtual, whatever you want to call it, or where people were working part-time in the office, part-time out of the office, now sometimes it's completely remote. It was more important that a recruiter knew you were going to be going to the area that they were in, because it eliminated one of the hurdles that they had to overcome, which is to get you to move, which you might not know this, but statistically you're increasing the probability of something going wrong exponentially, as opposed to finding somebody super local. Now, there's a couple of different ways you can do this. You could put the town you're moving to if you're going to move, or if you're open to moving. The other thing is, if you're moving for job purposes and it's conditional, meaning I'm not going to move unless I get a job in your town or in your city or in your state or in your country, it's a little more hairy. But in those cases, what I recommend is that you just say, and I'm open to move it, and I've decided I'm moving to your location, and that's why I'm reaching out to organizations where you're located. But in your case, I'm not really sure that it's going to make a whole lot of difference. So either one, pick whichever one you'd like. I'm assuming that this is not far, being that it's county, not state or country, and then just roll with it from there. The other thing I would recommend is, I have a video on my YouTube channel titled How to Get an Out-of-State Job. That works for across the city, across the county, across the state, across the country. The tactics are the same. Check it out. That'll help. All right. Adam Stark, what's up with you? Some interviewers have asked, why do I want to plan corporate events, as it seems like a downgrade from planning short films? Can I give a stronger answer to explain my career change? Okay. First of all, your reason is your reason, not my reason. But if I just answered this without understanding exactly why you want to do this or that, so a lot of you do this where you're asking, whether it's me or somebody else, how should I, why should I, does this make sense? It doesn't need to make sense to me. It needs to make sense to you. And if that's what and if that's what you want, then you go with it. So if I was not knowing why you want to do one or the other, and their okay, let's do this. Let's back up. I could be the CEO of a company or COO and make 10 times what I earn annually. Now, I want you all to ask me, Andy, why would you do that? My father asks me probably on a daily basis, why don't you just go get a job and run a company and have an easier life? And because what matters to me is helping you individually. If I have to endure more pain, so to speak, to do that because it feeds my soul better and I love what I do and it makes me happier to change Adam Stark's life than it does all of company XYZ and their customers' lives, then that's what I want to do. And if I want to get paid a fraction of what I could earn, that's what drives me. No one has to understand that but me. So if I'm you and I say to them, but I love planning events, it brings me joy. It brings me joy to actually see it in action. I feel the juice. It energizes me. I love the orchestrating. I love working with the people to bring it all together into this one live event. It makes me happy. The other stuff doesn't make me as happy. That's an answer. And then drop the mic and then that's that, right? Kind of thing. So when people ask you questions like that, they're looking for your motivation and they want to know, is your motivation something that's true? So let me give you an example. And yours is different because if I was interviewing if I had held a vice president of sales job at a company and I decided, and I was doing great, and I had a team of 20 representatives, and we're all selling, and we're all doing great. And then I'm interviewing over there for what we call a bag-carrying position, an individual contributor position, and the person there says, Andy, why would you want to go from here to here? Then it requires a little more ingenuity and hopefully a true solid reason, because what they're worried about is that I'm going to be unhappy taking a step down. Okay, this is I'm doing the same kind of stuff, but I'm taking a step down. To which I would respond, any of you salespeople that are in that situation, you know what? I thought I would really like managing the sales unit, but I find that it's a lot of administrative nonsense. And I would rather be solving business problems with customers and making their lives better and their companies happier and so on. And it brings me more joy, right? Something like that, which is why I want to work in that capacity. So you need something like that because that's believable and it's plausible and hopefully it's true that you're saying it. So really when people are asking you those kind of, or interviewers are asking you those kind of questions, what they're worried about is, are you going to be unhappy? Now you're doing two completely different things. I'm doing two completely different things, helping, right, individuals as opposed to helping companies. This is the kind of stuff you got to think through, but your reasons are your reasons. So manufacture it into an answer and then deliver it with gusto. That's a great question, by the way. All right, who's liking this? 9 minutes in. Can I get a smash on the like button for those responses? Asani? Hey, Andy, if company won't promote you to a higher paying position due to quotas and politics and you can't leave yet, what do you think about a second job to up your income? That's on applying and interviewing. Okay, a couple things. Again. Let me break this down. Try to give you the answer you're looking for. But let me tell you how I interpret this. If a company won't promote you to a higher paying position due to quotas, period, stop. If you feel that your company won't do that, you leave. I left because of that portion of your question. I thought it was absolutely ridiculous that a company would say we can only promote so many people. I mean, that is utter nonsense. If you're ready, you go, you get paid more if you're delivering more value. If the company is a problem and doesn't have enough money, then at least give you the title and recalibrate the comp. So that's the first part. The second part is, and then you say, and you can't leave. Now, I don't know why you can't leave, but it's surprising to me that there would be any major reason you cannot leave if you truly didn't want to leave. So that's the second part. And then what do I think about taking a second job? That's a personal financial situation for you. If you want to take a second income to generate more money, you're obviously taxing yourself more. You're going to be working more hours. I don't know what that does to you, your family, the 4 dogs you might have like I do. And so to me, that's a personal choice. Now, if you take a second job, then it becomes a matter of, well, are you taking a second job that's, maybe you're a corporate white-collar professional and you're taking a second job bartending at night and you're out till 2 in the morning because you're tending bar and you're close. I mean, what that might do to you versus I'm a engineer and I want to see if I can get a part-time engineering consulting position doing something similar for another company, then it becomes, well, does your company have a moonlighting clause in its employment agreement? So a number of you are working, you may or may not know this, but a number of you are working for companies who had you sign employment agreements that said you will not work at another place while you are working here. It says it in fancy legalese, but that's basically what it says. So then the last part to that answer would be check and make sure that you're not doing anything that has any repercussions to it. All right, I think I got all the points there. Mark from Long Island, great to see you. Cherry, my Canadian leader, what's up? Fan of Andy, how you doing, my boot camper from New Jersey? Looking forward to improving my job search quota and valuable reminders and guidance from Andy. And I love having you, and thank you for that. Cherry, companies undergoing restructuring. Old boss stepping down and new boss had a chat getting to know one another. I love your use of economic little letters and numbers there. Please provide advice on how to approach new leadership transition and boss to make sure we fit. So one of the things that you can do, meaning you, Cherry, because you have access to it, is you have access to the Career Accelerator program. And the first 2 modules of the Career Accelerator program are how to crush the first 90 days and then how to prepare for and execute on your promotion. And the reason those are important is because all the activities that I would want you to do with your new boss and getting to know your new boss and your new boss motivators and styles and what works and what success looks like and all these other things that should be planned are in there. And you have access to it because you're in the leadership program. But ultimately, to give you a quick, some quick coverage here is when I'm working with somebody new, it's all about expectations. What does success look like? What motivates you, meaning my boss? What's important to you? And what does success look like for you and me as a team? What does it look like for you? What does it look like for me? Okay, those are 3 things, right? Because the boss has personal goals, I have personal goals, and we have unified goals as part of the team. Those are 3 different things. And so you want to get clear on all of those. And then you want to make sure that based on what those goals are, that you know and your boss knows what success looks like and what your boss would consider success and why your boss would consider that successful and what the priorities are to your boss. This is a great one. I'm working with someone, I don't know if she's probably in her session with her CIO right now. And she and I meet frequently, and I coach her in a high-performance capacity. So on an ongoing how to do your job better kind of way. And one of the things that she and we met on Tuesday, and one of the things that we needed to do was prioritize a list of projects that she was going to identify for her CIO and her boss, and then there's her, and she manages kind of all the programs for this large financial company that has about 200 different project managers running projects to do technology work for this company. So this is a great example and microcosm of what I mean. Now, her company apparently has so much money that they really don't care about making money. It's absolutely ridiculous because I have to recalibrate the way I think, because I always think in when you're going to put success criteria together, motivators, goals, and projects and priorities and a roadmap, you're going to do it based on three things. Am I going to generate revenue? Am I going to save money, costs, optimize, or whatever? And then there's a compliance component, like regulations, legal stuff, things we need to adhere to. Otherwise, we get penalized that have nothing to do with the first or the second, other than it's going to cost us money if we're not in compliance. So if I'm prioritizing a roadmap, that's the way I go. But apparently, her boss doesn't want her to do that. They just want to focus on time, on-budget solutions. That's all they care about, apparently. So I said to her, okay, well, when you go in to talk to the CIO, you want to say, okay, when you asked me to do this initially, my inclination was to prioritize your projects based on revenue, cost savings, compliance. But since my boss told me it's more important that we focus on time, on-budget solutions, right? Because why is that my criteria? But since you're going to tell me it is, and that's going to make you happy and the company happy, I'm going to do it your way because I'm a soldier, right? So based on that criteria, here's my list of initiatives in the order in which we need to do it that will give us most coverage, this and that, get us visibility, and I would do them in this sequence, right? This is what the session she and I went through, and I prioritized all the different projects based on this, and I scripted for her how I would say it so that they know she's smart and they know she's adhering to what they want, even though that might not be what she would recommend. But it was a way of being able to share what her thoughts, but also adhere to what they wanted, because what I would have assumed your success factors were not true. Every business exists to make money. They do that by supporting customers, making customers happy, and so on and so forth. But without profit, you don't exist. So this is what I'm talking about. So Cherry, when you wrap this all together, you need to make certain things clear about you, but you need to understand things about what your boss cares about. Never, not in a million years, would I have ever thought to tell my client, her, that I would prioritize your projects based on what gets you on time, on budget. Yeah, that's a component, but it shouldn't be the driving factor, right? So there had to be the communication between them. Now, I'm not saying they run their company any way they want. I just need to help my client make sure she shines, while at the same time making sure she understands if she goes anywhere else what's going to be expected of her. So that's how I would approach that. That's a good one. Good question. Jill, boy, do I need a boost of Andy today. Been hunting since last February. Feel like I'm in a never-ending wormhole of no. Well, we gonna fix you. We're gonna fix you next week, and we're gonna fix you. I think you're gonna be joining me a couple of weeks after too. Richard Frank from Canada. Donna, also from Canada. Wait, who doesn't love? Because I'm in the Halloween spirit. The little doxy. I mean, how cute is this, right? How cute is this? You gotta be seasonal, people. Alice, I recently applied for an internal position and had an interview. However, I haven't gotten a response for 2 weeks. Would you recommend me to follow up or just wait patiently for the result? So here's what I would do. And I'm going to tell you specifically what I would do based on what you asked me. And then I want to back it up with the what. What do we say? Enter the Andy time machine. We're going back. Alice, we're going back 2 weeks. In the 2 weeks ago. So next time this happens, and then anybody else who gets in any situation, internal, external, doesn't make any difference. When you have an interview, before the interview ends, as best you can, you want to get 3 pieces of information. What's the next step? By when's that going to happen? And who's going to contact me? And yes, you are occasionally going to run into situations where somebody's going to say, Alice, I don't know. I just work here. They told me to talk to you. To which you would say, that's great, Andy. What typically is the next step? Have you done these interviews before? What usually happens? Who usually contacts me? Right kind of thing. And so you get all that information because why? Because then you could know whether 2 weeks is irregular or not. maybe I would have said, oh, Alice, I don't know, but I have 3 or 4 other people that I'm scheduled to interview over the next week and a half. So it could be a couple of weeks, but you might want to check with so-and-so, Kara, who's handling the recruiting or who scheduled this for you. And then you immediately go to the recruiter and say, what's the next step? By when's it going to happen? And are you going to contact me? And if I don't hear from you by when should I start to worry? When should I get back to you, so to speak? So that's what I would do. Andy Time Machine. Now, okay, what's done is done. You're here now. So 2 weeks, totally appropriate. You email and you say, hi, Kara, I'm checking in. I had a wonderful interview a couple of weeks ago. I wanted to see if there was any update. I wanted to let you know I'm greatly interested in the position. I wanted to see if there was any update. And if there's not, do you know by when you will have one question mark? Why do I call out the question mark? The question mark is a call to action, which means I need a response, please. You will double your chances of getting a response by putting this in it. Boing. Okay, so that's what I would do there. No, I would not wait patiently because it's been 2 weeks. Go ahead and email them. Send them what I just told you, and good luck. Reka from Zurich, my boot camper, what's up? Gary Hidalgo, how are you, my boot camper from the left coast? And Pamela Moore from Jersey City. Oh, you guys are great. Hey, Beth has a question. How many networking intro messages do you send to different contacts? Wait, hang on. I want to make sure I'm reading this correctly. Okay, wait. Okay, hang on. I understand what she's asking here. Hold on. Let's pull this one up. Okay, this is actually really good. All right. So how many networking intro messages do you send to different contacts? How long do you give that process before you just reach out to the boss directly? So if y'all don't know what my smart boot camper Beth is asking is, I recommend boss hunting, which is one of the greatest ways to get your next job. You're going right to the source as somebody that could potentially give you a job. You're basically cutting a lot of the process out in a good way, and you're trying to reach out to people that can help you. But along the way, you might know people who know the boss you're trying to get to, or you might be reaching out to potential teammates or getting intros to intros to get to the boss or whatever. And so what Beth is asking is, if I send, Kara a message to try to get to Andy because she wants Kara to introduce me to Andy, how long should she wait before Kara gets back to her? And what I would say is, Beth, that depends on the strength of your relationship. If it's somebody that you could pick up the phone and call or text, then it should be a pretty short span in which I would follow up with the person. Hey, Andy, I reached out 3 days ago. Now, this is somebody you know well. And then depending on the warmth of that relationship, you would expand that. But if I went 2 weeks and didn't hear back from somebody, say 10 days, let's say, then I probably would reach out to them and say, hey, look, I wanted to check in with you one last time. I'd really love to see if you could introduce me to this person. If not, no problem. If I don't hear back from you by tomorrow, I'll just reach out to them directly. But if you can, please let me know. I give them a deadline, and then I go. And for you, I'm all about, you see me do this, right? The bidas, the balls in the air. So I'm like 3 a day, 3 a day, 3 a day, 3 a day. I probably forgot I tried contacting somebody 2 weeks ago because I'm focused on so many other things. So, you have a great offense with lots of opportunities going, and then you're not too worried. So, wait, this is a great question in isolation, but in the bigger scheme of things, you don't ever want to have to worry about that. And then you get to a point where it's like, hey, so-and-so didn't get back to me. I'm sending them another message. If they don't get back, bang, next day I'm going to the boss, kind of thing. And that's how I would look at that one. Great question, Beth, as always, because you're super smart boot camper and leader. All right. What if I send an email for boss hunting, but no one replies? This happens, right? And should I resend the email? Yes. If you'd like, you can send it. I'd give them, say, I don't know, a week, 2 weeks, 10 days. It's up to you. But here again, most of you, okay, I'm a generalize because a lot of you have different backgrounds. You work in different towns, countries. You work in different industries. You work for different position types. You're targeting different kind of people, right? And some people are more apt to get back to you faster than others, and some are just timing, and some are on vacation, and some are out sick, and some are whatever, right? So you never know what's going on. The default number one problem, numero uno, going away, not even a close, there's nothing close second, is the reason that y'all that are familiar with my job search challenge techniques, which is, in boss hunting is one of the reach outs, and it's basically getting mechanical about sending out a number of messages each day consecutively and don't stop, is that you lack consistency. And some people kind of, well, the boss hunting's not working. Well, how many messages you send? Well, I sent 10 over the last 2 weeks. Okay, well, that's, one a day, right? That's not a lot. That's not a lot of data. That's not very consistent. 3's better. 4 or 5 is even better each day. So it's about being consistent, because if you're consistent, even if your messages, even if you're not targeting the right people and your messages are not perfect, that consistency will still yield results. And that's the first place I look. It's the first question I ask somebody when they say, Andy, I'm having trouble. People are not getting back to me. How many are you sending? Okay, who are you sending it to? What are you sending them? And we go through a pecking order based on what the next likely problem is and the next likely problem is. So, and by the way, that's probability and odds. That's, you specifically might have a bad resume. You might be targeting the wrong people. You might be targeting the highest level person at a large company. That may make it more difficult. Even if your resume is golden and you're a perfect fit for a role on that person's team. So there's a lot of reasons for all that. Seeking all truths. Hey, Michael Tierney, what's up, buddy? Q from Chicago. Lynn Holland, my new lifetime leader. Lynn, you now need to put hashtag Apollo, hashtag leader, hashtag bootcamper. You basically have all the big medallions. Arash, how are you? Chris Dowden, hey, hope we got you squared away. Nancy, thank you for that, Jill. All right, Tender Warrior, 68. Deb from Princeton, and followed by MTO. Look, you guys are like chewing the same dirt there up in the Northeast. I'm interviewing for Google account exec. Any tips on answering open-ended sales questions like if Google Ads sales are down in a quarter, or if you have to grow sales, what would you do? So that's a great question. And I would say, well, there's a lot of different ways to grow sales. But before I did anything, I would look at analytics to see what was working previously. Then I would break down what was working previously and see if the conditions today had changed that would alter what we were doing before quite wonderfully if any of the conditions today would have hampered our ability to do what we were doing before. That if not, I would look back and see then technique-wise, did we get away from what we were doing before? Did we get away from what was working? Because most of the time when you're trying to fix a problem, you don't want to fix the problem, you want to get back to doing what was working. And then boom, boom, boom. I would have like a little formula for every step I would take if I had to troubleshoot. Then I would look at, have the customers changed? Do I need to use a tactic? Do I have a new tool? Do I have a new, I would just have a list of things I would run down in short order. And by the way, if you are a salesperson of any kind, of any product, of any widget, of any service, if you do not have this, you are going into an interview half-cocked. That's a great question. By the way, I don't know if you actually. Let me see if I can show this really quick. I'm guessing I'm guessing I might not be able to get this up on the screen too quickly. Maybe yes, maybe no. But I hope. Oh dang, where's that? Where is it? So I don't know that you guys know this. Shoot. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pull it up fast enough. I don't know if y'all know this. but I coach a lot of, I coach a lot of people in Google and into Google. Let me see if I can get this. Yeah. Okay. How about this one? Andy, this is like the other day. I'm very excited to share with you. I've accepted a leadership position at Google as senior engineering manager, leading a 50-people team with scope to grow to director and a couple, so on and so forth. Apple role. I coached this woman into Apple. And so after she had interviews with Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest and Oracle and others, and we ultimately, after all my tutoring, and she's in my one-to-one coaching, she was at Apple. We stayed connected. We continued to talk and go through our stuff. And then she let me know she was interviewing with Google. She thought after everything she and I had already been through, she had it down. And that's what happened. So I want you to know, just kind of as another testament, that I do a lot of coaching for people in the big companies like Apple, like Google, like Microsoft, like Facebook, and Amazon. I'm very familiar, Netflix. I'm very familiar with these tactics and how to get you in there. So what I just told you, that was a no joke response. Terry, what's up from Sacramento? No, is it me or did I don't know. Did I freeze? I don't know. I'm looking at myself. I'm moving. And as long as I see green and I see me moving, I know I didn't freeze. So if that happens, refresh. Hey, speaking of, okay, Priya, and, we're kind of down at the bottom of the hour here. I want to interrupt our little program here to tell you a couple things. And if you, Kara, can we put this in the chat? Maybe pin this one. I've got a job search challenge that is next week. It's all new. It's built on the same blueprint of the challenge that I've been doing in the years past since 2018, since before that. So this is like the 5th iteration of this. But I've got a 2022, 2023 version. And it's 5 days, and it breaks down into, let me see. Yeah, I can get this. It breaks down into, here it is. It's October 3rd through the 31st through the 4th, and we're going through all this stuff. You're gonna learn the challenge on Monday. We're going to talk, part of the challenge is identifying target companies. That's the first. That's the second day. The third day is targeting people. The fourth day is what to send to those people. So the networking messages. And then Friday the 4th is all the problems you're going to have. This is probably, no joke, 13 or 14 hours of coaching. I have a follow-along workbook. All you need to do, there's a button on this page somewhere. There it is, says register free. All you need to do is head in there and check it out. Now, one of the other things I want to mention to you is that's public and it's on my YouTube channel, although you do want the follow-along workbook because it completely coincides with everything I'm going to be teaching. A lot of slides. I think I got like 100 slides to show you. And none of those slides are on selling you anything. They're just like, that's the legit program in all the detail. That's all free. And when we're done with this version of the program, it's going to be $500, okay, if you want to buy it for $4.99 or something. And I'm putting in a lot more tools and templates than I have in previous iterations. Now, a couple other things I want to mention to you, because I think this is such a great time of year to be job searching. We have already put on sale my job search coaching program. That's my big premium, what I call the boot camp, or it used to be called the job search boot camp. It's everything you can possibly imagine, and of which the job search challenge principles are only one sliver of finding yourself, getting yourself situated, developing all your marketing material, your resume, your cover letters, your LinkedIn profile, your stories, your personal story, your brand. All those things are in the boot camp. And then bringing yourself to market, the job search challenge is one technique. There are several techniques of how to bring yourself to market to actually search. And then there's all the interviewing and all the negotiation. And then there's all the specialty stuff. Now that's on sale right now. And the reason I mention that is there's two big reasons. Because next week, at the Job Search Challenge, although it's public, we're going to give priority service to people that are members of the Job Search Coaching Program. So you see these people with these boot camper hashtags, those are the people that we're going to elevate their questions. There's some other things for them, and they're also going to get all the replays packaged up in their library in a product of this new version of this program. And if you're interested in that, I want to tell you about it for a minute, and then I also want to show you what is coming right after, because there's something really big that we're doing. So we have this interactive service package that is, the reason I call it interactive is because not only do you get the entire product, but you also get online support and live attendance at the live group coaching sessions, of which we have over a couple dozen a year. So it's $200 off, and you can there's tons of success stories that you can find from this main page. I won't go through this, but there's a whole separate page that has all kinds of videos and written testimonials from all kinds of people. I won't even go through all that, but it's available for you to see. There's some value videos in there about lessons learned from people, and I broke down how they went through their job search and other things like that. Some of those videos are 20 minutes and a half an hour, but you can look and see all of what's included. And so it is a lifetime in one enrollment for lifetime access. It does have all of the different facets of the job search, as I just mentioned. You can look inside the product. It has networking templates. It has a whole boss hunting Bible, which is very thick, of all the scripts of when somebody says when a boss doesn't respond. If a boss responds, what do I say? Well, there's 9 different things a boss can respond to from your email. Generally, I give you all the scripts for all those. If you're a career changer, I break that down for you. If you're a senior exec or a more senior or tenured worker, I break that down for you. So there's some coaching sessions that we're doing in November after the Job Search Challenge, and I'm going to tell you what's inside those coaching sessions in a minute, because we're creating a whole nother interviewing product. But right now, the self-study is always about $700. This middle package is $1,000, so you can get a couple hundred off it right now. There is a VIP product, but the interactive service is in my opinion, the best way to start, and you can always upgrade should you need a coaching session, a review, or other things. And we also have a trade-up program. And I mention that because some of you have recently bought the resume writing workshop, you've bought the interview program in the past, but I really encourage you to check this out and try to get in, because what's happening is after next week, I'm going into this book is it came out in 2012, Interview Intervention. I still at this moment, I'm recording this on October, whatever the heck we're on, 27th. It's still for a materials and handling fee of $7 for the envelope and the service fees that go along with it. You can have this book. You can get the ebook, which on Amazon alone is $9, and I think I charge $7, and for the ebook alone is $9. I give you the audiobook and some other booklets and some other ebooks and things of that nature. It's a really sweet deal, but it's a 10-year anniversary of this book, and so what I'm doing is I'm actually going in those 5 sessions I showed you in November. Those are like 3.5, 4-hour sessions, coaching sessions that I'm going to be doing to create the 10th anniversary edition of the training program that's associated with this book. And I want to give you an idea of what this is, because I think if you're really, really on your game, or you've been on the fence about getting into the job search coaching program, now is a great time to do it, because here's what's actually coming. So during November, after the Job Search Challenge, I'm going to be teaching in the first portion of these coaching sessions. There's 5 major sessions that are going to be about 90 minutes to 2 hours of me straight teaching. So it's kind of an interview boot camp, but it's going to be, helping you get in order, knowing what you want. So I'm going to show you not only how to break down your requirements, but you're also going to get my coveted criteria and questions matrix that's got 84 rows of broken down requirements, how to categorize them, and everything pre-cut for you based on all the interviewing that I've done with more than 10,000 individuals and collecting data about what was important to them and how to break that down. We'll help you get organized. We'll help you determine what you need. We'll show you how to assess your financial situation. Then we're going to come back. So that's Tuesday, November 8th. Then on Thursday, November 10th, we're going to actually go through how to introduce yourself, all the storytelling principles for how to build and tell a story, how to come up with the stock stories that you should have on your speed rack and how to work them, how to structure them, what to say, what topics and all that. Then we're going to go down into all the specific questions that employers generally ask, how to answer each one of those. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the storytelling for your particular goals. So if you're a brand new college student, new professional, I'm going to talk to you about what your story's going to need to look like. If you're an executive, I'll do that for you. If you're a career changer, I'll break it down for you specifically. And then what we're going to do, we'll probably take a little break. We'll get into breakout groups. We'll practice some intros. Then we will role play intros and other things, answers and things of that nature. So we'll have a role play, a feedback session, and then we'll do some Q&A. So these are pretty extensive days, and if you can't make any of or all of them, you're still going to get the recordings. We'll talk about how to actually ace a specific interview. So day 2 was about getting everything ready. Day 3 is about, okay, now I have a specific interview. How do I look at that? How do I prep for the company? How do I prep for the role? How do I prep for the interviews? How do I prep for the job description? How do I break it down, delineate everything to know exactly what I need to say? And then on the other side of the equation, how do I talk to employers and ask them specifically about things I want to know, but I don't want to incriminate myself. I want to get evidence of the fact. How do I structure my line of questioning, which is going to be a multi-part, multi-step process? How do I do that? So we're going to go through all of this for some of the key areas that most people want to know about. I'll talk to you about notes. I'll talk to you about closing the interview. And then, because we're in a whole different world, let's break down all the different types of interviews that you can have. A screen, a second. What if you're interviewing with your staff? What if you're interviewing with seniors? What if you're interviewing with recruiters? What if you have to take tests? How do we do all this? What if I'm in an informational interview? So I have an exhaustive methodology of how to conduct those. You can control the agenda, what to say, what not to say, what to write after the interview, how to position yourself. We'll talk about the phone. We'll talk about the 1- and the 2-way videos. We'll go through all of that. And then I have a special section on how do we actually give a presentation. So imagine doing all of this with me live and then getting to practice it with me. And so the role plays will probably be a 1-session lag. So the stuff we do on the first day, we'll role play on the second day. The stuff we do on the second day, we'll role play on the third day. And we'll wind it all out with everything to do after an interview, not just how to thank them, but what happens if you get the job offer? How do you evaluate and analyze it to know if it's right for you? What about if you don't get the job? I've got an entire reviving section where some of you might be familiar with my rejection techniques, but you don't have the rejection booklet and you don't have the resuscitation booklet, which you'll actually have as a part of this program. We'll go through counteroffers and everything that means to you. But imagine doing all of that and getting all of that, which will be a $997 product when it's done, for free if you're a member of the Job Search Coaching Program before November 8th. But the reason I wanted to share all this with you today is because wouldn't it be smart to jump in now? It's going to be the same price between now and November 8th, and you can get the priority service next week at the Job Search Challenge, and then the following 3 weeks, 2 the 8th and the 10th that week, and then 2 more sessions, the 15th and the 17th, and then we got 1 session right before the Thanksgiving holiday in the U.S., that Tuesday. So I'm not going to be at live office hours. We're not going to have a lot of freemiums after that. This is all, I'm dedicating those 3 weeks to the people in this program. So it's a pretty sweet deal. And the only way to get that and join me live and get the replays and get the new product that I've been pouring my heart into. I haven't been this excited. I don't know if I've ever been this excited. I mean, I'm so excited about this because this now gives me a chance to get every single thing into the interview program and do it with you live and interactive, and all that stuff will be recorded too. So you're going to have all that. And I've broken down the product so it's all sectioned out for you. And I got bonuses in there too. I got bonuses in the interviewing program. So, which I'm not going to tell you right now. So anyway, I hope you're excited about that. I have a page that you will be able to actually see this. But I have to actually get you the video. But there's more. This is some detail on what I just showed you on that PowerPoint, where I'll go into kind of some of the things that we're doing, what some of the the schedule is, and you'll be able to see all that. I need to pop up the video. But I have a separate page just for that bonus. It's so complete. You will not find anything like it. I've looked. I actually spent time looking, and there's nothing like that out there. That's that exhaustive. That's that much time. That's that many lessons. That's that many tools. It's really gonna be a ton of fun. So I hope you give that some strong consideration. And if you have any questions, Kara loves emails. support@malawak.com. Okay. Where was I? Thank you for letting me share that. Jana, I submitted my resume to org I'd love to work for. They asked for more information in a follow-up email. Please click the link and complete the questionnaire. Includes responding via video. Tips and thoughts. What I would have loved to know, and I realize that you only have so many characters here, is what are you interviewing for? If you're interviewing for a marketing position or a social media content manager or other things, or a videographer or whatever, then a video might be appropriate, where they're looking at what is it that you are doing. If it's a situation where they're giving you a one-way video interview, meaning they call them on-demand interviews, that's the proper term, but really they're like you talking through the camera to nobody. And in these cases, I would just follow the questionnaire, answer it. This is not that uncommon anymore, and you go from there. I honestly, I would roll through it. Now, if you notice that it's like a HireVue is a popular one, I did an interview with the HireVue CEO, Kevin Parker. That's actually on my YouTube channel. If you notice that it's an on-demand interview where they're going to ask you basic interview questions, you might want to check out my video on that, because I have some videos on my YouTube channel about one-way interviewing, and I would check that out as well. All right, Kara is telling me that somebody had a question. They were confused about what I was showing. Okay, so the job search challenge, so the free event next week, Monday through Friday, is free, and you get to come to that. When that's done, all the replays come down. I package everything up into a product, and I load up all the templates, all the tools, the presentation slides, the workbook, everything, and the Boss Hunting Bible, the networking templates, all the stuff that you need to execute that into a system for you. And that's $500. That'll be $499. The job search coaching program, which is every step of the job search product, is on sale right now for $797. If you enroll in that, you're going to get the replays of the job search challenge. The other thing I mentioned was the Interview Intervention 10th Anniversary Program. That costs $0 if and only if you're a member of the Job Search Coaching Program, meaning you paid the $797. What'll happen is we're going to go through all of November, and I'm going to build it with those members of my Job Search Coaching Program who are going to be participants. They'll get to come to the live teaching. I'm going to teach it all live. It'll all be recorded. I'll section out the teaching. I'll section out the role play. I'll section out the Q&A. All that goes into a system that'll be like 20 hours of video, and all the templates and all the tools and all the stuff that goes along with that will go into that. And that program alone will be $997. But the only way to get that and the only way to participate is to be a member of my Job Search Coaching Program. So the $500, there's nothing to pay $500 for right now. But I want you to know that it would behoove you, if you're interested in the Job Search Challenge, which is the free version, which is a challenge, and which is also about 13 or 14 hours of teaching. That's next week. But for members of my Job Search Coaching Program, the paid premium members, they will get some extra priority service next week because it is a free event, but we want to give them priority question and answers and those kinds of things. I know that can all be a little confusing. One of the events is free. That's next week. Then after that, nothing is free for November. So if maybe that made sense. But that's a good question. I mean, I can't even keep it straight sometimes. I realize that it can get confusing. Arash, I studied MBA and landed into the CRM and operations role. Now, after 3 years, I see this path has a lower salary than other fields, like project management and product management. Should I change path? Again, I love that y'all want my counsel on this. Just because a path theoretically will compensate you better does not mean it's better for you. So I can't answer that. I want you to look at your requirements, figure out what makes you happy, figure out if the elements and the characters and the activities and the responsibilities and the other things that you get to do as a project manager or a product manager will make you happier. And if so, you feel that to be the case, then you make the career change. If not, you stay. There is always more money to be made doing what you're doing. If you're happy, you will figure out a way. Better quality of life and getting to help. Seeking all truths, you speak the truth. Moving forward, what's up? Richard Frank, thank you. Fifi, how you doing? Kurt, hey. Kurt's got a question. I have interview this afternoon. Good luck, my man. What are your top 3 questions to ask an interviewer? I don't have a top 3 questions to ask an interviewer because they don't always give you a lot of time. Kurt, you are in the boot camp. You have the criteria questions matrix. The way you choose the questions you ask are a function of you're always aiming anytime you ask a question. First thing, first function. You want to know, is it a good company and is it a good company for me? Those are separate, meaning it could be a great company and financially stable and a leader in its space, but not a good cultural fit for you, right? So that's an overarching wrap around everything you ask. Then it goes down to what's most important for me to know that gives me the greatest advantage immediately in impressing the interview. What do I call those? Short-term usage questions. And what do I mean by short-term usage question? Well, there's short-term usage questions and there's long-term usage questions. For example, if I say to you, what does success look like a year from now? And you say to me, well, the person who's hired for this role will have built this, this, and this. short-term usage because now I know exactly what stories to tell, or how to make sure that I drove home the fact that I have those skills and have done those things and have demonstrated how I would do it in their environment, and that's immediate. Right now, I could start working it, okay? Or the next interview or whatever, but I can use it right away to sell myself. A long-term question is, what kind of training do you offer? Right? I'd love to know, Mike, what are the career opportunities? Well, all those are great to know, but what are you going to do with that right now? No, you're going to go home, you're going to sit, and you're going to think about it, right? It doesn't do you any good to sell yourself. This is a function of that. The next thing you have to think about is, who the heck am I talking to? So I'm not asking the HR person, what does success look like in 12 months? They can't tell me that, even though that is my favorite question to ask. I have to ask, right, the HR person, right, what are the cultural characteristics of the people that succeed the most? What's the single greatest attribute of somebody who does well in this position? Or what's the single missing element that makes somebody have the hardest time? Right? Like, it depends who it is. And if I'm interviewing with a C-level, I'm not asking them any of this stuff. I'm asking them different kind of questions. So you need to think through it. And in the boot camp, you get the criteria questions matrix, which has all the criteria which helps align it to you, meaning, will this fit me based on what I need and how important these things are to me, and then how closely the employer matches, and then what do I need to know most, what are the questions I'm going to ask, and then it gets stacked by the function, or I should say basically the category I give you. Is it a company-specific question? Is it a role-specific question? Is it a boss-specific question? Or is it an interviewer-specific question? I mean, you're interviewing with somebody who's not your boss, and you're asking them about them. So you would categorize them, you would look at them, you would prioritize, you would do all this stuff before you go into any interview. I would have my speed rack. I would know in advance, what are the questions? They're all sorted. There they are. It's the sequence I'm going. Here's how I get the most coverage in 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, however long I get to ask my questions. Right? That's how I do that. All that's blueprinted before you go in. This is part of the interview training. Chris, you are loving the advice. Wonderful. Thank you. Everybody, if you are enjoying this, smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Share this. It lives on forever on Andy's channel. Is there a management course that anyone can recommend? Well, you can come to my leadership coaching, and I teach how to be a great manager in that. So I recommend my leadership course. Ali, I'm interviewing for a director role, and I have the skills required. Love it. But I don't have the experience working with the type of data the role will be working with. Yes, I'm gonna shoot you right to a video, Ali, because it's exactly what you need. I have a video on how to get the job when you're not qualified. That's on my YouTube channel. NF, Andy, please elaborate on sending cold speculative applications in general. Would sending such applications be advantageous for people with career gaps to take that approach? So two questions there. I'm going to answer the second one first, and then the first one second. It makes no difference, none, mind you, whether you are a recent college graduate, whether you have a career gap, whether you were a stay-at-home parent or whatever, whether you went traveling for 5 years, whether you retired and now are coming back to work, whether you spent a whole bunch of years in school, thought you were going to do something and decided you didn't want to do that and you want to go back to what you were doing 10 years ago. It makes no difference what your situation is. The cold emailing process, it's not cold applications. It's you are not applying. You are networking, hunting for a boss, hunting for a teammate. You could be reaching out to a recruiter. There could be a position. There might not be a position. And what you are doing is you are sending a properly structured, noted message that aligns to what it is that you want from that person and what it is you offer that person. Now, there's 10 different ones of these. of what you would say to whom you would say it. So to a boss, you say one thing. To a teammate, you say something else. To a recruiter, you say something else. If to a boss, if you know there's a position, you say something. If you don't know there's a position, you say something, and so on. And while this may sound complicated, in the job search coaching program, I've written all this for you already. Every variation you can think of. There are some, obviously, unique situations that might not be completely accounted for, but believe me when I tell you, you've got the structure and the templates to be able to take that on. Now, you wanted me to elaborate on this. The point is, all next week, I'm spending the entire week giving you the rationale behind why this works, how it should work, meaning you need to know what to do, and you need to know how to do it. But I also impress upon you on Monday exactly why I want you to do it. Because you are taking control of your search. You are focusing on what you can control, which is your research, your outputs, and so on. Things like putting your resume into the applicant trashing system is not something you can control. All you can control is writing your resume, trying to match up the keywords as best you can, then putting it in. But even if you're a perfect match, they might not let you through. The systems are not very effective. A lot of times companies, half the time, aren't even looking at the systems. So what you're doing is you're not giving yourself the best chance. And so what I'm doing with the challenge, with the job search challenge next week, is I'm showing you why this works and then how to do it. And we're getting into not just the what, but we get into the how. Now you might say, well, Andy, are you giving all of it away for free? Right, but except that the detailed templates, all the tools that you need are in the premium product, are the product that people will pay for. But you're going to get to see why I want you to do it, what I want you to do. I'm going to talk you through how I would do it, and I am going to give you some of the what to says. So, but I'm just not going to give you all the what to says, right? So it's that. I really, really think you're going to enjoy it. It's really deep. This is the deepest version of this I've ever done next week. So I hope that helps. But yes, it doesn't matter if you have a gap. It doesn't matter if you're a stay-at-home parent or whatever. It makes no difference. Now, what you say coming back to the workforce might be a little different than what I might say if I'm just changing companies, right? So you get the idea. CC, Andy, had a bad experience with a toxic masculine environment at my last job. How can I vet employers to decide if it's a good fit for me? Interviewers always speak highly of the company culture. I love this question. Okay, CC, couple things. You see this, let me see if I can get this back here. Oh, hang on. Let me show you this. Can you see this spot in the middle right here? Assess employers' behavior. Advanced techniques to evaluate. I know this is probably tiny and some of you guys are watching me on the phone. Employers' traits by eliciting evidence so you can determine whether they're the right fit for you. So I'm in this area right here. Okay. Now, did you see those words? Elicit evidence. Here's what most of you do. I want to know if they're a collaborative environment, right? And what you ask for is things like, how does the company collaborate? How do the team members collaborate? Are you collaborative? When you ask questions like that, you're going to get philosophical, what I hope is what we do, even though it's not anything remotely close to how we behave. CC, oh, it's great. We're very collaborative. I'm always asking the team what their ideas are. That hasn't told you anything. We get together every Friday for pizza and lunch. That hasn't told you anything. And we go around and we share ideas. That still hasn't told you anything. And then we collect up the ideas and we evaluate them. Still haven't told you anything. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking a lot and you're not getting anything. And you're looking at me going, geez, that sounds great. Because you didn't ask me a question that's going to elicit evidence of the fact. So there are techniques that that I teach that disguise, I literally call one of them a disguise technique, where you're disguising what it is you think or feel so that you're warming them up into giving you an example of something specifically that you want to know. So, it's really important for me, Andy, that I join a collaborative environment. I want to work in an environment where people are exchanging ideas and we're learning from each other. And I do think that if done properly, that's better. That's better that way. Okay, that's all right. Now, so you've given me a little runway, and I'd love to know. And I think that one of the signs of a collaborative environment is where you might not always agree, but the team members and the boss are supportive of each other in carrying out things and trying new things. You still haven't asked your question yet. And this doesn't take long to explain this, right, when this is packaged and rehearsed. And you go into, and I always think a great indication is when was the last time that you had a situation where your team members came to you with an idea, they absolutely loved it. You might not have been totally fond of it, but you completely supported it. And see how long it takes that boss to come up with an example. And if it takes longer than 5 seconds, I guarantee you it's not a collaborative environment. Because it wouldn't take me longer than a few hours or a day to come up with something that my team thinks we should do or should change, that I say, okay, let's give that a shot. Okay? And so what do employers do to you? Hey, Cece, tell me about a time when you failed, you disagreed, you this, you that. All you did was turn it around and shoved it right back at them, right? So you're reverse behavioral interviewing them because you were asking for evidence and situations and examples, not what they think. So it isn't a matter of what I think collaboration is. It's in practice, am I behaving that way? And people say, well, they lied to me. No, they didn't lie to you. You asked bad questions, and they answered it based on what they thought you wanted to know and what was going through their head. If I believe it, it's the truth, right? Kind of thing. Who's following with me? Do you guys, I go through a whole bunch of these. I lay it down for you. I give you the exact way to ask it. I give you the way to disguise it. I give you ones around deadlines. I give you ones around work-life balance. I give you ones around collaboration. I give you ones around boss being micromanagers. We go through all. So when I'm talking about this, assess the employer's behavior, this is what I'm talking about, right? I've put all this together for you in slide formats. You have all this stuff. So if you want to get this, you got to be a member of my job search coaching program so that you can come. It's in there already, and then I'm repackaging, and we're doing more of this stuff in building the interview intervention training, which is an isolation of interviewing teachings. So it's none of this is going on next week because next week is about the job search itself. So do you see how I did that last week? Week before was about resume writing. Next week is about job searching. The weeks after are about interviewing. And you should be totally armed by the time Thanksgiving comes to get out there and go get your job before the end of the year in the highest hiring time ever. It's hiring silly season right now. It is. There's a 1.8% unemployment rate right now if you have a college degree in the U.S. There's a lot of openings too. So over 10 million openings. And those are just the ones that are advertised, which are only a fraction of the ones that actually exist. And that doesn't even include all the ones where companies would trade out their people for you. And going back to what NF asked about, which was a great question about the speculative or cold applications. When you're reaching into bosses and you're reaching into companies, if I got 10 people on my team, 2 of them can go. Maybe 4 of them can go. And I'd swap them out for you, right? If you had the goods. That's not an advertised position. I don't need to increase budget to swap somebody out, kind of thing. So think about all that. All right, wait, what do we got? Where am I? I still got some time here, folks. Let me know what you need. And I always look through the chat when we're done. Oh, the mug. Yes. Yes, because you can never have enough coffee mugs. Or according to my wife, you can never have enough dachshunds. Yeah, LaCivita kennel. Terry Pembleton, how are you? You gotta be seasonal. My mug says which, please. I love it. Terry Pembleton, where'd you get the mug? Email me or LinkedIn me or something. Barry Carney, how you doing? Atoga, what's up, buddy? Karen, again, I'm applying for a job in, oh wait, I think I got that one. For question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? All you need to do is check my YouTube channel for that one. Julio, Reka, Gary. So I took a FMLA leave and I was going to be promoted to service director. Now that I return after my 80 days off from my leave, I'm now being treated as a service advisor. I've asked directly about my promotion and now being diverted with a change in pay and plan with no longer considering the promotion. WTH. I don't know. And I don't know what is within their power or not. If there's anything suspect or you think that you're getting the short end of the stick, I would probably engage a local employment lawyer or something of that nature. Ingrid, morning everyone. What can one do if a company accepts you after going through the whole process of the interview and acceptance? You proceed to notify your present employer you are quitting. The new company will no longer hire you anymore. Okay. Now, I don't know the timing of all this, and it doesn't really matter because you accepted it, you resigned, and then they said no. Now, you do one of a couple things. The employer that hired you, there's not a whole lot you can do about them extending an offer and then saying, I'm sorry, because you're probably an employee at will. And that would be my guess. Like 99% of us are employees at will and employers at will in the U. And Ingrid, I know you're in the U.S. Actually, I know you're around the block. So in this situation, then it becomes a question of, do you want to go back to your current employer, most recent employer, and say, you know what? I thought about it. I don't want to leave. You could do one of those. Now, I don't know if you've actually left, but you could try that. It depends on what the entire situation is. It stinks. It does. Pamela Moore, when I'm sending a letter, boss hunting or networking, how can I convey that I'm not specifically looking for a position at the level of my last position? You don't need to say anything of that nature, and you don't need to talk about your position. You can talk about, you don't even need to tell them that you're looking for something specific. If they have an opening, a position, and let's say you're here and they have an opening here and you're concerned that they're going to worry you're taking a step down. You could add a sentence into the boss hunting letter that says, what attracted me about this particular position is to be able to work in a capacity. What I'm interested in about this particular position or ones like it is that I get to work in a capacity that, and talk capacity, not specificity. Okay, you could do that. And it's the same kind of thing. And when you close your letter, say, I'd be open to discussing this or any other position that you feel I'd be suitable for. The most important thing is I'm attracted to your organization and working with you specifically, or something like that. So you want to tailor it based on the circumstance. Jill, great question. What if you made the ATS mistake and got a rejection letter? Would it be okay to still send networking letters? Yes, 100%. And every week I get no less than 5 emails. This is what people that actually send them to me, of people that say, Andy, I submitted in the ATS, I got a rejection letter, and then I found a boss and I sent a message and I got an interview. I found a recruiter, I sent a message and I got an interview. Right, because they never saw the ATS auto rejected you and no one ever saw your resume to begin with. They didn't even know you submitted it. So it's okay to do that. All right, folks, time check here because I got to get rolling at 12:15. Next week, please sign up for the Job Search Challenge. Free. You're going to get a $500 product and then some, and the Q&A, all delivered to you free. The replays are up for the life of the event. That's it. Then they come down. So please, if you miss them, catch them as fast as possible. if you're in my job search coaching program, which is already on sale for $200 off the middle pack, which is the best pack to get in that. We'll give you priority service next week. And then the following week, Tuesday and Thursday, and Tuesday and Thursday, and Tuesday, we're going to do that interview coaching that I talked about. Very teaching, interactive role play, feedback. We'll do intros and all kinds of responses and stuff. Got all kinds of games and things for you, and Q&A. And that's only if you're in my job search coaching program. So you can't buy your way into the interview program. I want you to be a boot camper. I want you to have everything before I break this up and sell it off as an individual standalone training program, which it will be. But you'll also have a good idea if you don't get in the boot camp. You're going to have a chance to get the interview program, but it's expensive. It will be expensive. There's a lot of stuff in it. So, okay, hope that helps. If you enjoyed this, please share it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because it hurts. It hurts me when you don't get my weekly stuff and miss my live shows. And click the thumbs up. It does send a great signal to YouTube, which is the finickiest of platforms. But I love it. All right, y'all. I'ma see y'all next Monday. It ain't gonna be long. And if you're registered for the Job Search Challenge, I'm delivering your workbook at 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time on Sunday, October 30th. The email's already ready to go. It's in the system, it's packed, it's ready to go off to you. So if you're wondering, hey, where's my workbook? That's where it is. But you can't, don't unsubscribe because we're going to be sending you the email. And then the question there, I see one popping in, is the boot camp program different from the job search program? The job search challenge is just a challenge. It's a smaller program. The job search coaching program has everything in it. And that used to be called the Job Search Boot Camp. We rebranded it to a more generic, more all-encompassing name called the Job Search Coaching Program, but we still call those members boot campers. So that's the same. And Richard Frank, thank you for sharing that. And I got to go wake my dogs up and feed them, walk them, shoot some videos for you. All right, you guys be good. I'll see you Monday. I am stoked. All right, see you Monday.